What up, everybody? You're now tuned into the true definition of a sports fanatic. I'm your host, Brandon Lampley, back today with another live stream. We'll talk about this weekend in football. We'll talk a little bit of basketball. You got right around the corner. I think tip off is in a few minutes away. I think it's I know it's 76ers and may think it's the Celtics, Lakers and Warriors later on tonight. Man, but we gonna start out by talking a little football. How you feeling today, Mr. Reed? I got my co-host in the building.
Yeah, I'm feeling good, man. Hope to be another good week of sports. So I love that the NBA starting, and then you got hockey, and then you got football, and you got baseball playoffs. So if you love sports, it's the best time of the year, man.
Yeah, this is the time of year, man. This is hey. I felt a little chill in the air too, so that's when you know that real football weather come in. I love when it get a little cold, man. Fair gets in town, Florida, Georgia goes down. It's a good time of year, man. Good time of year, man. But we gonna hop straight into this football, and man, we talked about him. And you wanna, we did a Jaguars post game breakdown. It's our last episode, so you go check it out on my YouTube page, Facebook page. You know, Jaguars Colts post game was the title of it. You go check that out. We had a true reaction right after the game. We talked about it for about an hour, and but we also talked about Daniel Snyder and his you know, the issues that's going on in Washington and him potentially being voted out by the owners. And we're going to get into that to start off because Jim Irsay he just launched a missile across the bow. I mean, I didn't think we would see this. I didn't think we would see quite just yet a owner put his name to his statements. But, hey, that's what's going on, man. So, man, we're going to check out what Jim Irsay had to say. And then I'm going to read the article and we're gonna talk about it. So, let's see. All right, come on.
It's a difficult situation. I believe that there's merit to remove him as owner. I think it's something that we have to review. We have to look at all the evidence, and we have to be thorough in going forward. But I think it's something that has to be given serious consideration to. Unfortunately, I believe that that's the road we probably need to go down, and we just need to finish the investigation. But it's gravely concerning to me, the things that have occurred there over the last 20 years.
Absolutely. When I saw this, I seen it came across my phone, the notification from ESPN, and I was shocked. So, but let's see this article. Say, for the first time, an NFL owner publicly has called for serious consideration to remove Washington's Dan Snyder from NFL ownership. Indianapolis Colts owner Jim Irsay held an explosive interview scrum at fall meetings Tuesday and called Snyder's missteps as owner, particularly with workplace misconduct, gravely concerning. He said, I believe there's merit to removing him as an owner of the Commanders. Irsay said from the hotel lobby of the Conrad, New York downtown, there's consideration that he should be removed. The Mary Jo White investigation into Washington's years of alleged workplace misconduct and financial improprieties under Snyder are at the root of the issue, said Irsay, who stressed that the league potentially could have a majority vote from owners to unseat Snyder. White is a former district attorney probing the matter on behalf of the NFL. The league requires 24 of 32 owners to approve such a vote, which never has been done at the NFL level. Irsay said that no vote will take place at Tuesday's meeting and that owners will need to hear more about where the investigation stands. A recent ESPN investigation detailed the matter while painting Snyder's shrewd plans against fellow owners using private investigators to acquire dirt from their past. Some of the things I've heard don't represent us at all, Irsay said. I want the American public to know what we're about as owners. You can't shy away from the fact that I believe it's in the best interest of the National Football League that we look at this squarely in the eyes and deal with it. A vote could come as soon as winter meetings, Irsay said, who noted owners must receive a thorough and detailed status report. That's not what we stand for in the National Football League. I think the owners have been painted incorrectly a lot of times by various people in various situations. That's not what we're about. A Commander spokesperson called Irsay's comments inappropriate and said the results of current investigation will cause Irsay to see Snyder in a better light. It is highly inappropriately, but not surprising that Mr. Irsay opted to make public statements publicly based on falsehoods in the media. The Commander spokesperson said in a statement, "It's unfortunate that Mr. Irsay decided to go public with his statement today while an investigation is in process and the team has had no opportunity to formally respond to allegations. The Commanders have made remarkable progress over the past 2 years. We are confident that when he has an opportunity to see the actual evidence in this case, Mr. Irsay will conclude that there is no reason for Snyder to consider selling the franchise, and they won't." Irsay said Snyder's issues have a long history and allegations of workplace misconduct span more than a decade. In July, Snyder began testifying before a congressional committee investigating the team's history. The hearing was not made public. White's investigation into the workplace and final allegations are ongoing. Irsay said league owners should be updated a lot more thoroughly and clearly. While Irsay wasn't sure about whether Snyder could be persuaded to sell the team, he said owners have complete authority to remove him from his seat. This was put before us, and we have to act, Irsay said, to protect and be an example for what we want to be about. Commissioner Roger Goodell spoke to the media at the conclusion of Tuesday's meetings and was asked about the ongoing Snyder investigation. Speculation without facts is not a very positive thing to do, Goodell said. Asked if he was surprised Irsay took a public stand, Goodell added, no. Of course he's not surprised that Jim Irsay doesn't care, and he's not alone. He's not alone in this. And you know what's funny about Washington Commanders spokesperson talking about Irsay and what he said and how, it was inappropriate and he's going off the media? Irsay has a direct line into what's actually going on, what's actually in the investigation, things that's not revealed to the public. So he sees what's going on and he's concluded that Daniel Snyder needs to go.
Yeah. Well, a couple of things. I feel the investigation is going on too long. I feel the investigation, I mean, at this point, we all know what the evidence is. It's against this franchise. I mean, they had initial, discussions and, like they couldn't release the information. And as we said on the show Sunday afternoon, how do you conduct an investigation and don't release the results? How do you conduct an investigation and here you have one fall guy who's not even affiliated with the franchise, and he loses his job off of audio or whatever was done in this investigation. And I feel is that, look, man, if you're going to be the NFL, there's going to drag the shield in the mud. He wouldn't have went public if he didn't already know what the damage, what the evidence, what's the charges, what's been done. And just like he said, his quote was that concern about the things that's occurred over the last 20 years. 20 years. I mean, this is like long overdue. 20 years, this guy has turned a once proud franchise into nobody want to go to the games. Nobody want to buy season tickets. And it's been one transgression after the next. And if you have an owner who's been having these transgressions for 20 years, it's the shame on the league for allowing this to happen this long and don't take any action. And I commend Irsay. I mean, he's a free speaker. He doesn't answer to anybody. And I commend him for coming publicly, because something should have been said on those lines by the commissioner. He's not doing his job. But and he's just being honest. I mean, you can say what Daniel Snyder and his people can say this and that, but these charges, the women have come forward, cheerleaders have come forward. Sexual harassment charges has been prevalent, and it's been just been a black smear in Washington for more than a decade. And how did it, it's almost to the point, how does this guy continue to own this franchise? He done lost advertisements. Nobody goes, they're not going to say nobody goes to the game, but this franchise used to have sellout after sellout after sellout after sellout, and had a waiting list that, extended 10 years just to be in line to get season tickets. And it's a detriment to the league now. And, I'm shocked that the owners didn't come out and be more forceful maybe 5 years ago. To be honest, if they care so much about the bottom line and their financials and don't want to have any negative publicity coming out about this league that could hurt their payday for advertisements and other things. But I commend him. I commend Mr. Irsay. He was truthful. He was long overdue, and something that this commissioner should have shown a little bit more forcefulness in trying to get this situation resolved for a once proud franchise. So commend Mr. Irsay for speaking out and telling the truth.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then Goodell, man, I don't like this. Goodell say speculation without facts is not a very positive thing to do. So you're speaking out on what Jim Irsay said, but you're not speaking out on the situation. That's weak.
It is.
That's weak. That is total weak sauce.
In my understanding, they had already completed their investigation, and according to his words, they didn't have to release the findings. The one thing, Brandon, that the commissioner and some of these owners got to understand, you cannot make things convenient for yourself. You can't make things convenient for the league. You can't withhold information. And then when the pressure comes out or somebody in Congress want more facts and information, and then you withhold information because you don't want it to taint you don't want bad news to disrupt the league. But truth is truth. Truth is truth. If you don't disclose it, it's going to come out. It may not come out now, but it's going to come out eventually. And no matter what, it's going to be bad for the league. So stop trying to suppress and just be open. I think this league has to be open with its fan base, with everybody. That if this guy broke laws, if he's harassing women in the workplace, which are some of the charges, and not disclosing information about financials, he's got to go. Mm-hmm. And he should have gone. He should have been gone a long time ago. He's bad for the league.
Yeah, absolutely. He's bad for the league.
He's bad for the league.
Let's say Dirty Dan.
Dirty Dan. That's what he is. If he didn't have money and power, he would have long been gone.
Yeah, and I know the owners did not want to do this during the season. You're taking away, you're distracting from football, their product, and what they want to do. But like I said Sunday, if they want to take control of this situation, because I'm not going to wait for Daniel Snyder to start releasing this supposed information that he has on Goodell, he has on Jerry Jones, he has on whoever the other owners or whatever, and all of the dirt that he's piling up. Because as soon as I heard that he had dirt on them, I said the owners are probably at a point where they don't care. This is his last ditch effort to try to defend himself and to keep his team. But I knew it wasn't going to work because the owners are fed up. They're done with it. They're over it. They want it to be gone. This investigation, like you said, has gone on too long. And the fact that those 650,000 emails has disappeared, I know that pissed a lot of owners off too, because they wanted that information out there too.
Yeah, and just I forgot my train of thought here. I mean, I just feel that this guy and the owners, get it done. Stop waiting. Stop chop. I think the owners are trying to do, okay, this guy must have some dignity about himself. And he would probably do this. What I think some of the owners would be thinking at this point. He's got some dignity about himself. So don't make the story any worse than what it is. So he should do the right thing and just voluntarily give up his franchise. And this Dan Snyder, if they waiting on that to happen, he's not that guy. He's not never going to do the right thing. He's a man of power, money, and men of power and money. They stubborn. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
They're gonna do it their way. They don't care about anything what somebody's saying about them, and he's gonna do it his way. And the only, ultimately, this is what's gonna happen. They got to kick him out. They can't wait for him to do the dignified thing. I mean, they got to oust this guy out. They got to get 24 votes and get him out to sell that franchise. That's the only way it's going to get done. If they wait on Dan Snyder to do that for himself and self-incest and do it alone on his decision alone, they'll be waiting for another 20 years. He's not going to do that. He's not going to do the right thing.
Yeah. No, they're not. He's right. He's not going to do the right thing. And he's gonna go kicking. He's not going to go quietly into the night. He's going to be kicking and screaming all the way down. He's going to pull every shrewd move that he can possibly pull. So, I mean, the NFL owners, they're like, hey, it is what it is. We got to rip the Band-Aid off. We have no choice. You backed us into a corner. We have to do what we have to do. And sooner than later, he'll be out of there. Because the fact that you heard Jim Irsay, one of his quotes was that they will not be voting, which was today, meaning that vote is coming soon. For him to have said that,
know what the vote is. That's almost like, okay, we're gonna reward this city, the franchise, but we're not gonna announce the vote in 2 weeks. Yeah, but they already done a straw poll, and they already know how many votes needed, and they got it. They got it in the pocket, and I think that's what this situation is, and why he came out and publicly said it. I think they know. I know Jim Irsay knows that they got 24 owners who want this guy out.
Yeah. He knows. Yep. That's exactly it. Yep. So I said that. I was like, quietly, they gonna get their 24 votes, and I'm sure they got them. They know who's ready to put him out. And it's amazing that he's losing allies as time goes on as well. And I knew that was coming too. Well, I say because eventually I was like, he got Jerry Jones in his back pocket. He may have Robert Kraft in his back pocket, and those are two powerful guys to have in his back pocket. But even Jerry Jones, one of the suggestions from an anonymous owner, and it could have been Jim Irsay now, they said that Jerry Jones needs to distance himself from Daniel Snyder.
Yeah, and that's probably right. And I'm sure at their meetings going on this week, I'm sure they're going in a room with Jerry and tell him that this is not good for business. And you need to, disenfranchise yourself from Dan Snyder because you're on an island with him and we pulling away. And, there's another thing, Brandon, when you make threats on owners, I believe that's where he lost if he had any support, he lost it last week when he started dragging them owners in the mud, talking about, I got this on you and got this on you.
He lost it.
Any support he had, he lost it with that statement because you're not going to threaten these. If you start threatening these guys, they're going to band together like brothers, and they're going to get you out of there.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's a threat. It's a threat. That's all. I don't know what did he expect after the threat. You think that these guys are gonna let you stay in their fraternity after you threatened them? You openly threatened them. I could see if he had sent this to each owner individually. Behind the scenes and say, hey, y'all put me up out of here. I got this on you, I got that on you. But to put it in the media for everybody's consumption.
That didn't fly well. That didn't fly well with the owner. Whatever support he had, he lost it then. And it probably won't take much convincing for Jerry Jones to realize that this guy is damaged goods. He's not worth, huddling over and, trying to stay on board and you fighting to keep him as an owner. I think it done reached the point that those owners say, man, this guy is not good for our business. He's threatening us. He don't know what he's got. He's investigating us, and we got to get rid of that. We can't, we can't have a guy who's around here trying to, expose our secrets. Put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. This is something you can't have.
And you know what? It's just amazing to me how urgent things are now since he made that that threat about exposing these owners, how fast the narrative has changed. And now it's almost like, okay, he'll be booted out. We won't have to wait, and we won't have to wait much longer. Probably before Thanksgiving, that franchise will be up for sale. But it's just amazing to me how quickly the narrative changes and urgency now that from this league, including the commissioner, we got to get this guy out. And now they're even talking about what Jim Irsay said. We're still investigating this guy. I thought the investigation was over.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought the investigation was over as well. So I don't know, man. We'll see where it goes from here. I'll be keeping an eye on that, and I'll be giving updates on that because I've been following this story for a very long time. Even before I really started doing video, even back when I was doing audio, I had been following this, and every bit of information that's been coming out, I've been seeing it. And the whole time, I've been wondering, how is this guy still the owner? Owners have been put out for much less than this. I mean, this guy has a trail, 2 decades worth of stuff. I mean, countless things. I mean, and then the only person who's been punished in all of this investigation into Daniel Snyder is John Gruden, and who I know is steaming hot still right now.
Yeah, exactly. And you know how fast they got Jerry Richardson. Richardson.
Yeah, Jerry Richardson. Yeah. Got him out of there fast. Golly. Let's say exactly they will join together and bury you, Dan. Dan need to go watch Roadhouse when the town got tired of the bully and put him to sleep with buckshots.
Yeah, that's what the owners saying. We got to get this bully out of here, man. We got to get rid of Quick Trigger Dan and
Yeah, absolutely.
But I say this, man. These owners are a joke, man. I still go back to all what happened with Miami, the head coach down there, and these owners. I just hate we're in 2022 and this good old boy network of these rich men, white men, and they just it just everything is about power. It's a power thing, and it's just amazing to me how God done so much wrong, and he still got wiggle room to make the decisions when he should have been out of his ownership should have been taken away 10 years ago. And we still at this point where this man done destroyed a franchise in 20 years, and it took a threat. It basically took a threat of, I got information on you, I got information on you, I got information on you, for these guys to act to try to oust this guy out from his ownership when, it took that when this guy have been doing bad things and, so much office this and office that, and nothing has been done, but it's suddenly he done went public and saying that he's done hired investigators to look into the other owners, that we come to the point now that the urgency then went from tenfold to now that it's urgent that we got to move forward and get this guy out of the league. That's just amazing to me. That just shows me how much money and power it is in this league among this good old boy country club ownership groups around this league.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna leave it right there. We're gonna move on. We're gonna stay in football. We're gonna talk a little college football. We'll talk about Deion Sanders. I want to play this clip because this is a funny clip. They say this is one of a lot of people took this too serious, but this is supposedly a close friend of Deion, and he was messing with him before they did the interview. Thought it was pretty funny.
Now is Jackson State head football coach, Coach Prime. Coach, how you feeling today?
No, straight up.
I always ask you how you feeling.
You was not talking like that just 2 minutes ago. Can you do the interview? Can you come in like you normally sound?
I just want to be clear and concise.
And professional?
Yes, sir.
So being you is not professional?
Well, I mean, I can't say it was a co. I can't do that.
I ain't actually do that. I just want you to be you.
Okay. Yes, sir. All right. Let me start over.
Right.
All right. Joining me is Jackson State Coach Prime. Is that the same?
Dog, it's the same. Like, just be you. Just try your best to be you.
Okay. All right. I thought I was doing that. But anyway, I want to just ask you, you feeling okay?
See, like if I say, man, what's up, Rob J? That's me. What's up, Rob J? You know the difference? Did you see the difference? That's what you do. And I don't know who you trying to please out there, but I just want you to try your best to be you.
All right. How you feeling today?
Much better. I feel good.
Deion is stupid, man. Hey, whoever the cameraman was, whoever's in the back.
Now is Jackson State head football coach, Coach Prime. Coach, how you feeling today?
You hear him laughing in the background. You hear them laughing in the background at this. This was pretty funny to me. But yeah, Deion is silly, man. He's like, I don't know who you trying to impress. I don't know what you got going on, man, but I need you to talk the way you was talking before we went on air. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about his altercation with it wasn't really altercation, but this back and forth, a little back and forth he had with Eddie Robinson Jr. after Alabama State blew the doors off of Alabama State, and that's what this is about. This is about them getting beat down, and he is further. So let's listen to this a little bit. You can see they show a video of the handshake and what started all of this. And this was Deion's response.
Is this further motivation for you and your team?
I don't need nobody to motivate me, dog. My mama working 2 jobs to make ends see each other was the motivation. Me being a great father, when one of my fathers was a drug addict and my other father was an alcoholic, that was my motivation. Seeing no one really come out of Fort Myers, Florida, that was my motivation. This? Oh, baby, you gotta get a line. I wake up motivated. I wake up trying to bless somebody, inspire somebody, encourage somebody, help somebody, motivate somebody, get somebody to the next level. Yeah. And somebody had the audacity to sit up here and say what I ain't. Well, baby, I know what I am. And I am a whole lot of things that a lot of folks would like to be.
Is this further?
So he said somebody talking about what I ain't, and he's responding to what Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. said after the game. And this is what he said. And by the way, this right here was highly unprofessional by Eddie Robinson Jr. I don't care how you were feeling. You are a leader of young men. This is what you do not do. Go decompress, get out your emotions, come back, and you talk like a man. But this right here, I don't like this.
Well, I guess me being up front is just like I thought it was a lot of disrespect the whole week. And so you're not going to be disrespectful the whole week in the media. We didn't talk in the pregame. I was out there the whole time at the 50-yard line. He walked through our whole our whole huddle on our end zone and came a long way around and get to his side of the field in the pregame. Thought that wasn't classy at all. And so in the postgame, I'm not about to give you the Obama bro hug. I'm going to shake your hand and I'm going to go on. I'm going to always be respectful and respect the game. You got the great guys, W.C. Gordons, Eddie G. Robinsons, those guys, Reno Chasm. I'm living on the shoulders of the SWAC. He ain't SWAC. I'm SWAC. He ain't SWAC. So he's in the conference doing a great job. Can't knock that. Got a great team. Son should be up for the Heisman Trophy winner. I love Shador. Great player. I love what he's doing for the conference. Probably one of the best things we had since that Steve McNair when he was in there. Love all of that. But you're not going to come here and disrespect me and my team and my school and then want to grow up. Shake my hand and get the hell on. Period. You got the W. Great job. I hope he comes back next year. I pray he don't get a Power 5 job so we can play them next year in Jackson. And I pray they put us for their damn home.
Coach, would you describe it? Were you just trying to pull away from his handshake there?
Yeah, I was just pulling away. I mean, we handshaked and that was it. I mean, it ain't no need for no embrace. You know, we ain't friends. He ain't never called me. I ain't never called him. Great player. Shit, everybody wanted to goddamn be primetime as a little kid. All right, great player, all of that. Played against him, got tons of respect for the guy. Doing a great job as a coach, but you can't do all that stuff all week. And then you come back, put your backup quarterback, and you want to run a hitch and go to try to put more points on the board. Shit's disrespect. Game was out of line. 26-12. 40 seconds left. We had no timeouts. Take a damn knee. You want to try to run a hitch and go. So we started blitzing. We're going to knock him out the game, too. So that's how we got to play it. I mean, it ain't no quarters given. So you want to do that, don't come with me and try to bro hug me like we're friends. We ain't friends. You didn't shake my hand before the game. Why you shaking my hand after the game? Period. That's it.
One of the comments that kind of disturbed me out of all the comments that I'm not swag. Who is? We got time today. Who is swag? If I ain't swag, who is swag? If I ain't swag, who is swag? If I ain't swag, who is swag? Baby, who is? Come on.
I'm with Deion on that one. Who is if he's not? And Eddie Robinson Jr., man, he just showed that. Look, he said it himself in his statement. He said no quarter was given. That's football. That's football. I can't think of the famous quote from Steve Spurrier, but he basically saying that because they were talking about him throwing the football up 40 in the fourth quarter. Hey, you need to stop me. That's the game. You know what was disrespectful? Them scheduling Jackson State as their homecoming game. That was disrespectful. You started the disrespect. If we being honest, come on, dude. And then you're going to do all that. I understand you don't want to Obama hug him at the middle of the field. I got that. That was funny to me. I did like that by Eddie Robinson. But you ain't got to do all that. You didn't have to. The post-game stuff, you don't have to do that. And then I hope the players, when he walked, because Deion walked the field to start the game before every game. What he did, he do that before every game. He said he got there a little late, and so he was still, did his normal routine. But there were players in that end zone who cursed at Deion. I seen video of that, and I can't find the video. Those players should be disciplined, if not suspended. You don't curse at the opposing coach. We're not running that type of program. But that's me personally. Some people might not care about that. They might not do nothing. But whether you're gonna make them bear crawl, run some gassers or whatever, but that's not the type of program we wanted. You could talk trash now. You can talk trash, but don't be cursing and being very disrespectful and all of that, because he did walk in y'all huddle. You want to say whatever, hey, time, we gonna knock y'all head off. That's cool, but cursing at the man, come on. But what you think about this, Mr. Reed?
Man, I gotta go back to my past. I worked in Fort Myers, where Deion from. I know why Deion is why he is, because Fort Myers is I essentially call it a segregated town. There's the black side of town, and there's the other side of town with the golf courses and everything. And Deion's father, he was a drug addict, and then his stepfather was an alcoholic. And everywhere, when Deion would come back home from Florida State, he would get harassed. He'd go to the mall. He's getting harassed by the policemen. And even when Deion was with the Cowboys, the 49ers, the Falcons, nobody really understood why he's as eccentric as he is. And I think his eccentric, when you know you good and you show it and you flaunt it, it can rub people the wrong way. But the real deal about Deion was a superstar at Florida State, and he would never come back home and be respected as much as he respected in other parts of Florida and around the country. he never got the respect in Fort Myers for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I still think that sits with him. I still think that's still part of his motivation and why he does things that he does. Yeah, like that video right there,
Yeah, he got the I am swag memes. I'm gonna let it play before we let you finish talking, and we're gonna let it play. But I'm gonna let it play in the background.
But I don't know, man. I actually went to that game and when they played BCC at the stadium Saturday. And yeah, I think BCC could have said the same thing the Alabama State coach said, that yeah, every time they got the football, it looked like they were scoring. Now, should you blame Deion for that? No, I think BCU was not prepared. And probably Alabama State wasn't prepared either. Because I tell you this, Brandon, when you look at that Jackson State team, they got a linebacker. I don't know his name. I know his number, 57. I think he's a pro prospect. Both of those cornerbacks, and one of them is his son, pro prospect. Running back they got, pro prospect. And he might have some pro prospects on the offensive line, and his son at quarterback is a pro prospect.
Yeah, Shador can play.
But I go back to the old way. Sometimes, you do have to understand the SWAC. The SWAC was a conference where it was Eddie Robinson and Mario Kasem, and those guys would they would try to beat each other up with their players. They didn't like each other. The both programs try to really recruit the same players. But there was never no friction. There was never no, I don't think Eddie Robinson liked Kasem, and it probably was vice versa. But if that's the SWAC, then the SWAC, I don't know what is SWAC either. I don't know if you want to go back to the old school ways of doing things or brotherly love or you got a bunch of coaches who's jealous of Deion.
Yeah.
And I think when you really look at it, because Deion coaches the way he played. I saw the man on the sideline with a stool, and I think that had to do with the surgery on his foot. But Deion is going to be Deion, and it's because he's always been Deion. He's an eccentric personality. And that's the glory. I think that's one of the reasons why Jackson State hired him. He brings everything. He definitely got a good football team, but he brings his personality. He brings, he brings fans to the stands, which I think for other programs outside of Jackson State, I think you need to have that type of exposure, to be honest, for the other schools in the conference. But yes, it can rub you the wrong way. Yeah, they do go downfield. They pass when they're up by 30. I think they were up on BCU, 30? I think it was 30 to nothing, and they were throwing passes downfield. And yeah. I don't think the opposing team might not like that, but it is what it is. Deion is what he is, where he come from, and he ain't changing. So if you in the SWAC and you don't like it, then you go out and find you some players like Deion and try to do something about it. But all that talking and, I'm going to pay them back when I hope they make us the homecoming game and all that stuff, man. I don't think that's SWAC to be the threatening and all that. I just think that you got to do what he's doing. He's bringing attention, notoriety to that program, and they're a hell of a football team, and they're winning. I think if you look at the combined scoring that they put on Bethune and Florida, I think they got out in those two games. I think Jackson State scored like 140 points. I think the like 16. I think is, they both blowed out both. So it is what it is, and the man ain't gonna change. So you got to deal with it, deal with his personality, deal with his football team, and just you know, I mean, if you don't like them, you don't like them. Do something about it and beat them. Beat them on the football field. That's all you can do.
Yeah. And all Eddie Robinson did was put more money in his pocket because now look at this. Deion got these hoodies say I am swag. They say they selling out of these hoodies. They done already put a song out. These boys clowning, man.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, coach. Okay, coach. Okay, coach. Okay, coach. Okay, coach.
Get on your ass, foot.
I wake up motivated. I wake up motivated. I wake up motivated. I wake up
See, and if I'm Alabama State, I'm pissed off at Eddie Robinson because you done turned us into a meme now. Who is swag? This is ridiculous. Let's get some of these comments, man. Ness say to my yes, Brandon, very unprofessional by him and his players. They were totally disrespectful to Prime. Yeah, they were. Yeah, I'm talking about punishment got to come down. I told my mom, I say some of them would have got a game, at least a game. I make them sit on the sideline. Only way they don't get a game is if they that dude. You know, if they that dude. You know, hey, it's different punishment for different players. It is what it is. But if they a guy I can stand to be without, he missing the game. I mean, it just is what it is. He say sad representation of brother against another brother. Hey, and Ness, I was talking to my mom about this the other day as well. I said that especially when it comes to black men and black women, there's certain behaviors and certain ways you act. I don't really think they get how it makes you look. You know, I'm talking about this with black women. They do certain things and it makes them look aggressive. You know, Eddie Robinson, that does. It makes you look aggressive. It makes you look hard to work with, hard to deal with. You know, if a Power 5 school is looking at Eddie Robinson Jr., you know, this not going to take him off the board if they're really interested and they want to come do football, but it will give them a cause to pause and say, man, look at this dude behavior. Shoot, when Bama blowing the doors off you going to do this to Nick Saban? You going to do this to Nick Saban? We can't have you doing this to Nick Saban on national TV. What you doing? Mm-hmm. You know? So let's see. Kassan, what up, Kassan? He said Coach Robinson wrote a check he can't cash, all in his feelings. Oh yeah, he was all in his feelings. He said they should have let the video play. I was ready for Prime to keep talking. Yeah, Prime went in. He did go in. He said the I ain't swag memes are fire. Yeah, the memes have been crazy. They selling that hoodie. They selling out of that hoodie already. He say, like the famous quote of Nature Boy, oh yeah, to beat a man, you have to beat the man. Absolutely. And I hope Deion grants Eddie Robinson his wish and schedule them for homecoming. I do. I hope just cause I hope so. I really hope. Yeah. But this once again
60-0 if that happens, man. Alabama State can't beat that team. They can't beat them this year. They can't beat them next year. And it is what it is.
Yeah, because I like what Deion said when they asked him about competing with Alabama. And he said, my boys aren't ready to compete with Alabama. He said, we got to get some more beef up front. He said, the difference between the HBCUs and the Power Fives is not necessarily the skill position, because you just called out a couple of pro prospects from a majority of their skill positions. And you say a few on the offensive line, but Bama got pro prospects on both sides of the line, and it's plentiful. You know, that's one of the biggest differences.
Yeah, another thing that to be honest, SWAC got to improve their facilities, man. And, this is about, attracting recruits to come to your school. And if you look at some of the SWAC facilities, they're not up to par, man. They're not up to par. The weight room facilities is not up to par. They don't have all football facilities and those kind of things. So a lot of goes into this Power 5 and HBCU and those kind of things, man. But you know, I think that's where you got to start from the ground up. You know,
Yeah.
Even Deion talked about that. I heard a conversation that Deion had this week about the SWAC schools not getting the same guaranteed money to play some of those top 5 teams, Power 5 teams, But if you, I don't know, Northeast Michigan or somewhere like that, they get $1 million checks. And the SWAC schools playing, if they go play a Power 5 team, like Southern University played LSU, and they're getting $500,000. So, I mean, to be honest, Brandon, you really got to. I don't think people understand Deion. I think they see the man, they see the glam, they see the man, they see more of what the show is, but they don't see the substance. I mean, I remember he used to have a reality show, and maybe he should have another one, because I think he on that reality show, it shows the side that a lot of the people in the public don't see about this guy. This guy had his own school. I think he's all about what he says about, helping young men growing to be positive, citizens, And I think he's got a way of motivating that a lot of coaches don't have that gift. It's a gift to really change lives. I think this guy does that. I heard him speak probably about 3 weeks ago, and he was setting the rules for his team. He told them point blank, you have a problem
like that.
if you sit in class, with your arms out, with tank top or whatever, slumped in the seat, not representing the Jackson State football. Yeah, I mean, I like that. I mean, I like that side that you do play on my football team, but we don't want you to look like you're a football player in these classrooms. Be a student. And to see his son, I mean, his son, I mean, the quarterback is, I mean, he's good.
He's good. He's good.
He's good. But I feel the SWAC is fortunate. To be honest, I think they're fortunate to have a guy like Deion with the exposure. The SWAC getting more exposure now than it probably ever got.
Ever.
Even when Eddie Robinson was coaching. But I think he rubs people the wrong way, but it is what it is. He's been doing this for the last 30 years, man. He's not going to change. He's not going to change who he is. So, SWAC coaches, if you wanted to walk the walk, talk the talk, then go get a better players and compete against them.
Yeah.
If not, basically shut up.
Yeah. It is really as simple as that. So, but yeah, once again, my mom, she enjoyed the show. She said she was mad when it went off. She said she really enjoyed the reality show. And yeah, I will say that's the money that they're missing, because people tune in to watch his reality show.
Because he's real, man. He's a real guy. I mean, this guy loves his mom. That's one of the things that came across on that show, the love for his mother. His mother always been there in his corner. I think he had her living in his house with the kids, helping out raising the kids. And he's always been close to his mom. Even back in the day, back in the day there in Fort Myers. She's always, man, they have a bond, She was what his father couldn't be for him. I mean, she was the mother, the father, the coach, all that. And it motivated him to do what he did, man. And it's just like, I think it's a good story, but I think I would like to see people see through sometimes I say it's a show, but it is his personality. But I think this guy is genuine when it comes to helping young men.
Yeah.
If you look on his Twitter, I mean, he's quoting scriptures. I think he's serious about religion. You know, I think some people might say that's they don't believe it, but I think he's genuine when it comes to that. And he loves his children, man. I mean, he a lot of black men get criticized for not being there for his kids. The one thing I remember on that show was just how he was for his children, including his daughter. And he's got an older son named after him, and just the bond, the relationship he got with his kids. I mean, that's a good thing. And I wish that show come back on.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but man, we're going to leave it right there. We're going to move on. Staying in football, of course. We're going to talk about Tom Brady. So Tom Brady is struggling to focus on personal life during the season, and he compares it to war. I think they have some audio here, but for whatever reason, audio is not loading. Must be an issue with it, but I'm going to read a little bit of this. It says, Tom Brady says finding it nearly impossible to focus on his personal life half of the year, explaining he feels like NFL seasons are similar to going away on deployment for the military. Tampa Bay Buccaneers shed light on his struggles with work-life balance while talking with Kevin Durant on this week's episode of the Quarterbacks Let's Go podcast. The 45-year-old admitted even though he tries to place an emphasis on certain aspects of his off-field life during football season, he finds himself buried in his job instead. He said, I almost look at a football season. I don't know how that's wrote. He said football season like you're going away on deployment for the military, Brady said. And it's like, man, here I go again. The reality is, he continued, is you can really only be authentic to yourself, right? Whatever you may say, man, I want to, make sure I spend a little more time doing this during the season. The reality is, when it comes down to it, your competitiveness takes over. And as much as you want to have as playful balance with work balance, you're going to end up doing exactly what you've always done, which is why you are who you are. And the words appeared to shed further light on the marital issues Brady is having with Gisele Bündchen. She wanted him to step away from football for years and be more of a hands-on family man, but he's making it clear he's having a very hard time doing that. In fact, he said he straight up gets to the point where all he cares about in the fall and winter months is wins and losses. You're going to go, how the F do I get it done? He said, how do I got to do for my teammates to get it done? As we reported, Gisele left Tom because of his obsession with football. The two have started the process of divorce, already hiring high-profile family law attorneys in South Florida. And I get exactly what he's saying, him comparing it to going on the military deployment compared to war. It's kind of funny because he's never done that. So how would he know? So I didn't know the veterans are like, how would he know that? You have no idea. You out there, silver spoon boy, you out here, you protected and stuff, millions of dollars. You don't have no idea what war is. So I already know the war and veterans, the purists of the military probably don't like that. But I get exactly what he's saying. And he's totally right that, yeah, he wants to have that work-life balance. But I've always said, whether it's Tom Brady, it's Michael Jordan, it's Kobe Bryant, it's LeBron James, any of the greats of their sports, even a Serena Williams, Muhammad Ali, any of these men and women who were the top of the top at their sport, they have OCD. You have to have it. You have to be obsessed with success. You have to be. Kobe Bryant was obsessed. Those stories about him getting in the shooting around an hour early, having guys filter in the gym while he's shooting, and still be shooting after they finish their workout. That's obsession. That's an obsession to outwork guys. And the same with Brady. He was obsessed with it. But it was his life. It's consumed him. But where I will not give Gisele any grace is that you already knew this. This is what he was always doing. When you met him, this is what he was. So, but that he's finding out now that that work-life balance with football, which I'm pretty sure he already knew, it's impossible to do. You have to focus on one, because his position and what he's playing, like, you could say, okay, you could get away with not studying as much if you played running back, Maybe if you played maybe a receiver, maybe corner, DB, maybe defensive lineman, maybe you don't have to study as much. But the quarterback should really be studying as much film as the coaches, if we're being honest.
Yeah. I don't have much else to add to that, man. But when a guy started talking about work to life balance and just comparing football to going off to battle, I think that's a man who, having thoughts about that he made the sacrifice of playing football and realizing that family is gone. That's what I take from that. And it's tough. Here's a guy with all the things that you said is true. I mean, his passion for the game, obviously outweighs everything. To be honest, and when you really look at it, I think that's the passion of trying to win another Super Bowl. And when you have a wife and you got children, and maybe there was maybe they had an agreement. Who knows? Maybe they had an agreement. You win the Super Bowl, you retire. But a lot of times when a player, all the players you described, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, the hardest thing is letting it go. Even when you don't have the skills anymore, is letting it go. And I think he's at that situation right now. He's 45. I don't know if he can take this team to the Super Bowl. I think there's some things being exposed now more than probably 4 years ago about, his lack of mobility. He's playing on a team with a bad offensive line that was bad due to injuries. But, you have to appreciate a guy who loves the game that much. When you look at Tom Brady's situation, I mean, you got to go back and maybe look at Bill Russell. It's one thing to win 3-4 Super Bowls. It's another thing to win 7 and still be motivated as much as he is to have that passion to win another one at 45 years old. I mean, that's saying a lot. I mean, I know the guys you called out, the Kobe's, man, they won a lot of championships, but even Kobe at a certain point of his career, he wasn't forced to retire. He decided this was it, and Jordan was a little different. I remember the Jordan Wizard years. He wasn't that player he was with the Bulls. And he probably held on a little longer than what he should have had. But Brady, I mean, this guy can still drop back in 2 steps and throw a 40-yard spiral downfield. And is it the love of the game? Or is it that, hey, this is the sacrifice that I'm going to make and the decision that I'm going to make? And it's almost to the point like, man, and I think that's the discussion. When is enough is enough. That's the hardest thing. When is enough is enough. When is enough is enough. Yeah. If he win 8 Super Bowls, is he going to receive any more glory than the 7 that he already won?
Right. Yeah. His legacy cemented. That's like LeBron winning the 5th championship this year. Yeah, LeBron win his 5th ring. Cool. But it doesn't, it is what it is. He's still at the top. He's still one of the greatest to ever pick up a basketball.
30, 40, 50 years from now, he's already made his name. There'll be discussions about he's going to have that mantle, the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. No matter what happened this year, if he played next year, win another Super Bowl, he's already got that. He's already done earned that right. But I don't know. I guess the question to me is, when is enough is enough? I mean, when do you want to look? And that's why I think retired players have the issue that we've been talking about on some of the shows in the past, that when they come on as analysts, it's always them reliving their glory and comparing their past to the present players, and they can't let it go. They can't, you Charles Barkley tonight will be saying something that happened 20 years ago when he played for the 76ers that has no relevance to what's going on in these games tonight. Yeah. But it's there. When I was a player, we did it this way. So
yeah,
I don't know what Tom is wrestling, man. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's going to be talked about for the next, probably forever. I'm definitely for the next 50, 60 years as the best quarterback to ever play the game. Nobody can take away 7 Super Bowls. And I'm amazed, like, what more fire do this guy have? What more is there to prove? There's nothing more to prove. So, other than he loves the game with a hell of a lot of passion in it, and he's obsessed with the game. But I think it's a hell of a sacrifice to sacrifice football for your family.
Yeah. A heck of a sacrifice. Let's say, Kasai say, I'm sorry, Tammy Brady. You suck for blaming it on deployment. Sorry, don't compare. Never really cared about him in this comment. Yeah, like, hey, the veterans are like, hey, dude, don't compare this. You're talking about you have no idea what we go through. So him comparing it to that, and then Nesco said, I actually saw this coming because he's driven with football. To me, she knew who she married. To my, he would not turn his cleats in for a minivan. Dude, I bet. I bet he woke up that one morning after retirement, hopped in the minivan, got the kids in, took him to soccer practice. He's sitting on the sidelines. He was like, man, this some bulls. he's like, man, I don't want to do this. Yeah. He said, no, because it didn't last long. Well, he was retired for what, a month?
Yeah, I don't even think it was a month. Was it a month?
I don't even think it was a month either. It probably was 3 weeks.
Yeah, the guy got to have a football in his hand. He's got to be in the locker room. He's got to throw back. This guy was having workouts at high schools when he first got to Tampa in January and February during COVID. I mean, it is what it is, man. And yeah, I agree with both of you guys. She knew it. She knew what she married.
Yeah.
And I guess the pinky swear, whatever they sworn to uphold, whatever the agreement was, didn't work out, man. But
yeah,
I don't know, man.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. So, man, but we're gonna leave it right there. We're gonna talk about Mr. Russell Wilson, and you called it before the season. You told me even before we was just talking in private, and you said that I don't like Denver. I don't. He said, I don't think Denver's going to be good. I said, you just didn't like him. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. And you called it, man. It's been something. But now some of Russell Wilson's former teammates, on top of him, I think he had like a ligament injury in his throwing shoulder, something like that. He also got a hamstring injury. He day-to-day possibly may not play in the London game versus the Jags. If so, Russell, yeah, you need to heal up. Because if Trayvon Walker falls on you, you might disintegrate. So, yeah, go ahead and sit this one out. But also, his former teammates, Marshawn Lynch and Richard Sherman, have been exposing some tea. So let's listen to, I got a few clips. Listen to what they said. This is Richard Sherman's podcast, Fair Use.
He on a struggle bus.
Man, I want to reach out to Dog, bro, because
reach out to it.
It ain't
manager.
That. It ain't, man. Come on, nigga. If I can't call you direct, nigga, then I ain't calling you. Especially nigga, if I done went to war with you. Right. But I do, man, because you feel me, the backlash that bro just got, like, and I know he one of them heady guys, bro. It's more so like I just want to tap in with him, make sure that you feel me though, that Dog solid though, because man, at the end of the day, like. I mean, I understand what this football shit is, but you feel me? I want to make sure Dog's straight in his mind, though, and don't let that shit overshadow, like, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, bro, you still a Super Bowl quarterback. You feel me? You know, you got a beautiful family, all the shit, but, motherfuckers been going off the deep end with how they been thinking. And, nigga, that's the last thing I would want, you feel me, on Dog plate because he lost a couple games.
So one of the things he mentioned there is that he say, I don't went to war with you, but I don't have a direct line to you. And that's one of the criticisms of him. But let's listen to this right here. This was interesting.
I'm like, it's hella long ago. You feel me? Maybe no. It's almost as painful as if that was the
yesterday,
play.
right?
As if that was the last play that you just seen in football.
Right.
Like no matter what. And then the thing about it is, for what I say, what it did for me in Seattle, but what that shit do for me in any football country, like no matter where I go, bro, if it's a football fan and they recognize Beast Mode, Marshawn Lynch, the Seahawks, any of that shit, that's what they hey, I just got one question. Why didn't they give you that ball? Why didn't they let you run that ball?
Imagine if they would have gave it to you, what your love would have been throughout the world. Then you would have been Super Bowl MVP. We'd be sitting up there with your bottle of privilege and having a blast.
I'm like,
and he's speaking on Russell. I didn't mean to stop sharing, but he's speaking on Russell. I didn't know Russell changed the play. He audible to a pass on the goal line, and that's what they're speaking about. I didn't know that. I didn't know he audible to that play, and you could hear it in their voice. It still bothers them to this day. It really does. It bothers them to this day.
But it should. I mean, all he had to do was run a 1-yard blast up the middle with Lynch, and the game over. I still to this day like, what in the hell was they doing on that play? Yeah,
absolutely. So, well, you see, Marshawn discussed. He said how Russell Williams alienates his teammates and makes them set up calls through his business manager. And so, hold on. Okay, I'm not sharing that one. Hold on, let me share this one so you guys can see it. And this is what he's going to discuss because he going through it. Like Marshawn said, he said he a heady guy. So whatever it is, a lot of what it is probably mental of what's going on with Russell right now. Probably got some things going on at the house. Who knows? I don't know how Sierra convinced him that this was a good look, but we're going to move on. So said Russell Wilson is a weird dude. There's no other way to put it. Going through invisible huddles and mental reps by himself, which for the record I personally love, but realize it's pretty weird to see. I didn't care about that. That's visualization. That's him going through his progression. I got no issue with that. Some people are making fun of that, but it is what it is. Russell Wilson giving out free game. The mind doesn't know the real difference between mental and physical reps. He can't play, so he went through a game. He got his reps in, visualized, calling the play, and avoided defenders. The physical realm can only get you so far. Oh yeah, and this was him going through it, and this is what people were kind of talking about. What he was doing, he was simulating the huddle. Going back, basically talking to himself, simulating like he's in the game and whatnot. And yeah, I got no problem with that. People saying, "Oh, that's weird," but that's visualization.
Mm-hmm. He's going through his mental step. The mental step. Big part of the game is mental preparation. And NBA guys do it. NBA guys do pregame where they've taken shots and counting down seconds, and it's the mental part of the game. There's no problem with that. But I think he's lost some of the focus. I don't know what his own life's like, but as we was talking about Tom Brady, I think Russell Wilson is the complete opposite. I don't think football right now is the most important thing in his life. I think it's too much of showtime, so to speak, and partly the blame is his wife. But I don't think he's focused. I mean, I know he's going through some injuries and things, but I say this: I don't think Russell been focused. I don't think he was focused last year totally on football. Just like you showed the picture, GQ and this and
fashion icon and all of that. Yeah,
even doing the when all the stuff went in Seattle about he could play, he could see himself playing somewhere else. I would just like to know who's calling the shots. Who's calling the shots for Russell? Is it Sierra or is it Russell?
Yeah. Who is it? Yeah, who is it? So Let's read a little bit of this article. It's saying, while all this stuff can individually look cringeworthy, you can kind of chalk it up with him being cheesy. But when you talk the quarterback position, you need the respect of your teammates. If you say you're going to do something, you need to do it, and your teammates need to believe it. I always knew Richard Sherman had a beef with Russ going back to the Super Bowl decision to throw it on 2nd and goal, which I've detailed was the right decision for the down and distance combined with the time left. But now with all things coming out about his time in Denver and things clearly not going well, maybe Richard Sherman was right. Maybe Russ was a diva who couldn't take criticism and alienated his teammates. Another peek behind the curtain from Richard Sherman's podcast, where he had universally beloved former Seahawks running back Marshawn Lynch on the show. A friend to Russell can't even get direct contact with him. And we watched that clip where you can't even get in direct contact with him. He said, that is insane. A guy who Lynch says he went to war with can't even call his buddy to wish him well in these hard times. Instead, he can get in touch with his businessman to set up a time for the two to speak. As a Russ defender in the past and a big Russ believer in Denver, the more and more this stuff comes to light, the less and less I believe it'll turn out well. And if so, that enormous contract and traded picks looks so much worse. So yeah, that's the end of it. But yeah, he's going through it. And I think and exactly what you just said, football might not be the most important thing in his life at the moment. I think so.
I think it shows in his performance. I mean, here's the guy, he completes, 5 of his first 10 or whatever. They go 3 of 18 or whatever, 3 of 11 or whatever, close out the game. I don't know, man. You can just look at him and I don't see the same Russell. I don't know what it is.
He doesn't look like the same player. Yeah. He's not playing free. He's not playing loose. He looks tight. And then he is probably going through some injuries. He got the hamstring injury. I know he has some supposed ligament damage in his thorn shoulder. So he was going through it. So, hey, I just know one thing. This current Russ that's showing up, I want that Russ to play against the Jaguars.
You got that right. I would pick the Jags to win. Just on the Hackett alone, the head coach.
Oh man! And that's the other thing about the Denver Broncos right now. They're a dumpster fire, and man, Nathaniel Hackett is he's leaned out over his skis, man. I mean, this dude, he's in over his head. I don't know, dude. Simple things like certain time management, and why is Latavius Murray eating into Melvin Gordon's carries? You're talking about Latavius Murray. I'm not understanding, man. I don't understand.
Got I mean, to be real about it, Latavius Murray played in the Saints. I believe it was week 1 game. So that following week, Denver signed him. So he done went from basically coming off the street to being the featured back.
Yeah, right. How does that happen? Somebody said that Melvin Gordon was eating into Javonte Williams' carries, but he can't eat into Latavius Murray's carries. Like that is it's ridiculous. They say this is consistent problem in NFL. This damn hero playing. Yeah, the hero ball. Just play football. Stop trying to be the hero. Russ is trying to be the hero and the guy everybody loves. Nope. Yeah, you're not being your authentic self.
Well, that's the problem right there. He's trying to be. He's working more for his brand than he is for the Broncos.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah,
he's putting more effort in the brand. Yeah, I say this, Brandon. If we was to really know, like I like to know during let's say a game week, what are his obligations outside of practice?
Yeah.
Is he doing charitable events? Is he hawking cars and commercials? I feel he's doing all of that, and I think he's working more for his brand than he is for that Bronco team. And when you get blank stares from your team, from his team, man, they got some pictures out, man.
Yo, I gotta pull up the picture. I know what you're talking about. Hey, that picture of Melvin Gordon looking at him on the sideline. Oh man, dude, that's pretty good. Let me see if I can pull that up. Let's see, Melvin Gordon. But hey, let's go silly to my Brandon. Please take that picture of Russ off the screen. That brother looked too pretty. Russ with the fade is more manly. Hey, you see, he got the hair in his eyes. Dude, he look like easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. That's what he looked like right there, man.
That's a lot of Sierra production there, boy.
Yeah. Yeah, how she convinced him that looked good.
She trying to get him ready for Hollywood, man. Russell gonna be making movies in another 2 years, if not this season. He might be already making movies. Yeah, he might already be in production. And he showed a little quarterback that I don't remember.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I can't find that picture, man. But that picture's so funny. Russ drinking from his water bottle and Melvin Gordon just giving him the death stare. That thing is funny. I can't find it. I'm gonna find it before the end of the show. Definitely.
Russ about to drop an album, man.
He gonna drop an album.
This Sierra, they're gonna drop that album, man. Right before week 12. When Poe Denver will be still stuck with 3 wins or whatever they got right now, 2 wins or whatever they're 2 and 4, I believe. So they'll still be stuck with 2 wins.
Yeah, still be stuck with 2 wins. Well, it is what it is. But we're gonna leave it right there, and we're gonna move on. And we're gonna talk about the NBA.
Yeah, I'm glad it's back.
Yeah, season tip off.
Man, the Magic back playing games, though.
Oh man! Once again, they hope one of these days the Magic will get it together. Yeah, but hopefully,
lifetime we hope they get it together.
Hey, hopefully, Banchero can pull them out of the abyss, because I think that kid, he can play.
Yeah,
he can play. Hopefully they can surround him with some pieces, continue to draft well. But I think they definitely have a future star going forward. Have you seen the kid? I can't pronounce his last name, save my life. I've heard it, but I got to hear it again. That's like what's that? The Clemson quarterback, DJ Uyangalele. I finally got that right. But Victor Wembanyama, I think that's his name, the 7'4" prospect who's in the G League, and he's tearing it up. Have you seen that kid?
I haven't seen him.
Oh, dude, he looks like Kevin Durant. He looked like Kevin. He got it all. He got handles. He can shoot. Only thing is like he's skinny. That's all it is. And eventually he can get his man body, because you've seen body transformations, especially with Giannis and how skinny Giannis was. You look at Dwight Howard, how skinny Dwight Howard was. Even LeBron, when LeBron first came into the league, how skinny he was, how he looks now. So he could transform his body. That's how Kevin Durant really don't care, because he's never gotten bigger. Hey, he's like, he got to stay. He works on pliability. He's like, I got to keep my muscles stretched and loose.
Yeah, he just got to shoot the rock, man.
That's all he got to do. But Victor, man, I can't wait to see that kid. But one of the stories leading up to this was, and I'm sure I'm not going to show the punch, of course, but everybody been talking about it, of course, Draymond Green and his altercation with Jordan Poole, and and how it's affected the Warriors locker room, and what's been going on with it. And I said this before, I'll say it again. Draymond has cost the Warriors a couple titles. If we're being honest, he's cost them a couple titles for sure, because not only you cost them, you can make an argument he cost them the one against Cleveland. Well, Cleveland became the first team to come back down 3-1. He cost them that title, so that's one title. And then who knows how many titles they would have had had he not ran Kevin Durant off, because he was a big reason why Kevin Durant left Golden State. And who knows if Kevin Durant was still there today, how many titles they wouldn't have had, that drought of titles that they had. So they won 4 total titles, but you can make an argument they could have had 6 right now, at the very least.
Well, I say this. I think this is his last season in Golden State. The video of that punch was, I mean, you can't have that in a locker room. You know, that's going to be talked about publicly for the whole season. I still think it's something where the team has to heal from that situation. And then you look at the Warriors give Poole the extension. That I don't believe they have any plans to give Draymond an extension. And that's what you have. I've heard some of the talk that Draymond said that they share, they locker next to each other. I also heard that Poole kind of, he plays, he jokes and talks, played a dozen, like, man, you don't score a lot of points and joke around with him. But man, you can't have a guy punching a guy like that in the face like that, man. It just that I don't think the Warriors, even though they feel like they done patched it up, I just don't think his future is with the Warriors anymore. Once his contract expires, I don't think they're going to offer. And I think his time is done. And who knows if it becomes – see, Draymond is a guy that I don't think Draymond can let it go. That's just his personality. I think it's going to be something that flare up again, or he'll have a conversation about it, and it's going to be talked about. They're going to talk about it on TNT. When they play, they're going to play tonight. I'm guaranteed that'll be brought up. How's the harmony in the locker room going to be that question? And the Warriors is a proactive team, man. They're not going to have something that's perkering. I mean, like just going to keep simulating for the whole year and not do something about it if it comes back to that point, because I think they made their choices. I know who they're going to, they already offered Poole, and I just don't think they're going to extend Draymond, and they're going to move on from him after this year. They're going to do the right thing because, he's part of a championship team, and they're not going to be a franchise that make rush decisions. But I think they've already made their decision. And I wouldn't be shocked if Draymond end up with the Lakers. And, power to glory to him. But that was a dumb decision by him. And I want to say this also, man. Whoever sent that tape to TMZ, I guarantee you, as Charles Barkley said, they work for the Warriors.
Yeah, they do. Absolutely. And supposedly they sold it for like $100,000 or something like that. I would have got more.
Well,
I would have got more.
Whoever sold that tape to TMZ is not a friend of Draymond. I say that much. It's much worse on the video than it does. Well, did you hear what happened in the practice where he threw a punch at him? That's one thing. But when you see the actual video of him throwing that punch and hitting this guy in his face, that's a whole different. And that video ain't never going away. That's going to be with Draymond for the rest of his career. That's what happens when videos get viral. They don't never go away.
Yeah, as they say, that video is ubiquitous. Never going anywhere.
Never going anywhere. And it's always going to be tied to Draymond Green. Yeah. And another thing, I mean, it's got to become less, like, I know, arguing with the officials and all that kind of stuff. He should have got a call, and he's arguing his point. But man, it's getting old. Takes away the focus from the rest of the team, and he's not the same player he was a few seasons ago either. So,
yeah. No, he's not. He's not the same player. Nope. And yeah, he's done. He's done. There's no more grace going to be given to him in Golden State. Yeah, TNT did a heck of a job trying to undersell what was going on, but trying to, and he's basically a part of the media already, because he's already setting himself up for his post playing career. So he's already started to dip his toe in the media, and he's very good. That's one thing I can't take away from him. He's very, very good. I've watched him on several occasions, and the guy, he's good. He has a future in broadcasting, no doubt about it. And he set himself up well. But man, this right here, dude, he got to cut it. You got to cut it, man. So, but man, I'm gonna play this real quick, and then we're gonna go into our predictions. Oh, I gotta get this comment. He said, I would not be surprised if he has a Victoria's Secret subscription for himself. Talking about Russell Wilson. Come on, that's man with it.
Yeah, probably true.
Come on. Yeah, he said, if I was Poole, I wouldn't have signed my contract without getting my lick back for sure. Hey, I like what Shannon Sharp said. He said it's on site every day. He said until I beat him, he said it's on site every day.
And sometimes when you throw a pass and it bounce off your head, that's getting paid back that way too.
Oh yeah. That's getting paid back too. But man, and I hate that his antics overshadowed his this show he did on this snippet from the show LeBron Show, The Shop, and then talking about the WNBA with Lisa Leslie. We're gonna check this out. We're gonna talk about this.
If it's one thing.
Oh, come on. With the
Launched directly on AWS, fundamentally.
They got to make their money, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
All right, come on, get rid of this ad. Man, I love what Draymond said in this, and he has that Charles Barkley effect, that kind of I'm going to be myself, and people, you just going to accept it. It's almost like the Deion. It's authentically them.
Mm-hmm.
The WNBA's game. It's one thing that I don't want to say change, that you feel that can help the WNBA's game out.
Help the game out. Okay, so I think the game is looking great. I think it's evolved great. I believe that players are more talented, faster. You can see they're getting that individual training, ball handling skills, shooting. The game is phenomenal. I thought they're playing at a high level. I'm very proud of them. I support the WNBA still. I will always, obviously we'd love to have Brittany back home. That's important.
For sure. Shout out BG.
Shout out to BG. She's never, far from our thoughts, but the WNBA is rocking. What could we have more? I mean, I just think, from a salary standpoint, it'd be great for the women to be able to make more money. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work. I think I saw something that said like one player that makes maybe $12 million on the NBA team could cover the whole WNBA salary.
Yeah, that's insane.
So that's kind of like crazy. And again, we're what, 26 years young. So it's not like we're comparing ourselves to the NBA, but I do feel like the pay gap would be something that we could just take a donation around the NBA. Maybe one night y'all don't go to the casinos.
I have something on this though, because it pisses me off. It pisses me off because I don't think there's anyone in America that supports the WNBA more than NBA players.
100%.
The NBA players support the WNBA like
the most,
more than we probably support the fucking NBA. And it bothers me.
You shouldn't be bothered because the WNBA players, I can tell you 100%. And we had a meeting for our 25th anniversary. We're do Zooms with the veteran, the legends of the league or whatever, and just talking about it. And I told them on that call, the number one supporter that we have, you guys never focus on, and that is the NBA players.
I don't know if you guys know this, but the WNBA actually loses money. Shocker, I know. They lose an average of about $10 million per year ever since they started. So how is it that they're able to keep going as a league and pay their players? Well, that would be the NBA. The only reason the WNBA even exists is because of the profits that the NBA has made. So when you hear statements like, men should show more support for our league, just donate your salaries, it's no big deal, skip a couple nights in the casino. Don't you think that's a little entitled, considering the whole reason they're able to make any money at all and even play basketball is because of the NBA players making the profits they do? Even when they show support, NBA players get blasted for it. That's what happened to Andre Iguodala. When he complimented Ariel Powers, she not only told him to keep it to himself, but she also tried digging up old tweets from his past to cancel him. That's right, she tried to ruin his career just because he complimented her by number and not by name.
I remember that. I did a before I was doing audio at the time, and I talked about that. And the Ariel Powers was out of line. I did not like that at all. But I like what Draymond Green said there. Nobody supports the WNBA more than the NBA players. Dude, when those players who didn't opted out due to COVID and wouldn't play or couldn't play, it was Kyrie Irving. I think he contributed $1.5 million to the fund. You know, he was the biggest donor and put that money together for those women to be able to still draw salary, even if they did not play. They are your biggest supporters. I seen where they had a breakdown of those who support the WNBA, meaning they buy tickets, they buy merchandise, they go to the games, you know, they watch it the most. And not to my surprise, the biggest demographic was Black men. Black men support the WNBA more than any other race or gender in the United States. And who are most of the NBA players? It is Black men. And too many times I've seen them get contempt for when they just had suggestions. I've never seen them be disrespectful to the WNBA, but I've seen WNBA players be disrespectful towards them. And then for Lisa Leslie to suggest that, oh, you guys could skip going to the casino one night, just put it all in the pot and just give us money. No, that's not going to solve the problem. Your issue is your game and the people who's in charge of growing your game. We talked about this plenty of times, Mr. Reed. The people who are in power of the WNBA are sitting on their hands and they are not marketing their stars. They're not trying to grow the game. They're fine where they are. You tried to kick an owner out of the league for chartering flights for his players.
Mm-hmm.
This is a crappy run organization that needs to be called out from the top. Not once have I seen the players, coaches, staff, or any of the owners call out those people in power from the top. You know why? Because they don't care.
Yep. That's everything you said, man. WNBA, I feel they don't strongly enough want to stand alone. They want to be coincide with the NBA, like getting help, just like what Lisa said. I mean, but it's not about that. It's about trying to branch out. I think they need to branch off. I think they need to, even if it's, success or failure, I think they have to do a better job of marketing. I think they rely a lot on help from the league, and that self-reliance on the NBA kind of done spoiled them, that they don't do enough promotions. They don't promote their players, and they expect the NBA players and the NBA league to safeguard. And I agree with what the commenter said, that if it wasn't for the NBA, it wouldn't be no WNBA. And probably in the first 5 years of existence. Yeah. I can remember the Houston Comets team that won all those championships. I don't think the league marketed that whole, that was a dynasty franchise, and I don't think the league did a great job of marketing that team. And that just, I just think that their philosophy is a lot what she said, that, we feel that you owe us. We feel the NBA owe us. And I hear this a lot about salary comparisons, but there's no way. How can you compare the two salaries when you look at attendance in some of the games in the WNBA and their ratings, and they don't pack the house. They don't They don't. I mean, there's a lot of interest in the game, but when you start talking about, well, one player for the WNBA make 12 million and LeBron make 37 million, there's a reason.
Yeah.
One league been around, 25, 26 years. The other one been around for 77 years.
Yeah.
That's a difference, but it's hard sometimes. And I love women's sports. I mean, I'm gonna say that, I don't have anything against it, but sometimes we look through things through the crystal ball and we see it. We see the scope of things the wrong way,
Yeah.
We feel that, oh yeah, women do the same thing as men, so they should be paid the same. But when you look at those leagues, and I think David Stern, when he established it, basically approved that, hey, we want to support this. We want to help you make it successful. I don't think he meant for the NBA just to, okay, we're gonna keep feeding money into this into this venture, and we're gonna stranglehold the league and not allow it to grow. Because I don't think that was never the intention for the NBA. I think the WNBA has become complacent. I mean, I don't know no other word to say. I think they've become self-reliant. I think they've become complacent. I think they expect to be this global game. They expect to get support from the NBA without having to work for it. I mean, the bottom line, and I don't want to sound sexist or anything, but you can't put some of these. I mean, some of the franchise, they got a team in Atlanta, and the team in Atlanta basically play in I think they play in Marietta, just outside of Atlanta, but the gym looked like Forest and Orange Park could play a basketball game in a gym.
Yeah, I've heard about a lot of their gyms and how they look and how the upkeep of them.
Yeah, and just they got to do a better job. I mean, you got to, and one way to build your league, and even the NFL does this. The one way to build your league is to transcend your audience. You got to tap into people that may not be interested, but you draw their curiosity to watch you, and then you hope that you can keep them. That's what the WNBA has to do. It has to tap more into the basketball overall audience, and then you have to keep them. You have to make them want to come back. You got to play a exciting style of game. I think the WNBA has 2-3 good teams, and then that's about it.
Yeah, that's about it. And they definitely don't market their stars at all. I mean, I haven't seen any advertisements of the Chicago Sky being the WNBA champion whatsoever.
Either, or Las Vegas. They won it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it at all. So, I mean, so it is what it is. But we're gonna talk about this NBA, which I don't know what the score is right now, because I know they've already kicked off. And I'm gonna check out that Lakers Warriors at 10:30. It's 63-63 with 11:41 in the third. So okay, so Boston and 76ers, they going at it. So man, we're gonna take a look and see what these predictions are. And we're gonna go through them very quickly, and then we'll talk about who you think who you see as title contenders and who could probably win the NBA title this year. So they got the Atlantic Division. They got the Celtics. They say this is Hollinger's prediction is he got them first in the East again at 55-27. I don't know about that. Losing Ime Udoka, I don't know if they repeat if they can repeat what they did last year and end up first in the East. They have a very good team, and the guy who's filling in for them, they say he's a good coach. But I think that that's going to affect them. If it don't affect them late, it's going to affect them. If it doesn't affect them early, I think it'll affect them late into the season.
I agree.
Yeah, let's see. 76ers, he got them second in the East at 54-28. I could definitely see that. Another year. But the key there is that dude there who looks like he's in impeccable shape. I've seen the videos of him working out, and Mr. James Harden, him staying healthy and getting back on track and being the James Harden of old and not being a what Skip Bayless would call a team obliterator, as he used to call Terrell Owens. And seeing what he's doing. Brooklyn Nets, they got the Brooklyn Nets 4th in the East, Toronto 5th. Got the Knicks at 10th in the East. Got Milwaukee 3rd in the East. Cleveland, they got Cleveland predicted to be 6th in the East. That's interesting. I know they got Donovan Mitchell. So I wonder how that's going to go. Chicago Bulls, they got them 9th in the East. Detroit 13th in the East. Yeah, I don't think Detroit's going to be that really good. Indiana, they got Indiana 14th in the East. Miami Heat, they got them 7th in the East. I think Miami's going to be better than people think because they got them at 45-37, 7th in the East. I think they're going to be better than people think. Another year.
5.
Yeah, at least. Atlanta Hawks got them 8th in the East. I think that's about right for Atlanta to be 8th in the East. The Wizards got them 11th in the East. Charlotte Hornets 12th in the East. I don't know, man. LaMelo, I don't think
he's still hurt, right?
He's still hurt. He sprained his ankle. Miles Bridges is still going through his legal troubles. I think Gordon Hayward, I think, is healthy. But if they get everything figured out, I think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't see them finishing 34-48 and being 12th in the East.
And they made a coaching change. They brought back the old coach.
Yeah. Here go your boys. They 15th in the East, Orlando Magic.
Things don't change. What's the record? 21 and what? 40?
61. 21 and 61.
Man, they need to sell half-price tickets, man.
No, something. They need to. All right, so we're gonna go to the West. So Northwest Division, Denver Nuggets 50-32, tied for 4th in the West. Yeah, Denver is a playoff team. Jokic MVP. Minnesota Timberwolves 7th in the West. They're definitely making the playoffs. Minnesota's good. I don't know, 7th in the West. The West is tough, but I don't know, man. Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns. I got to see it, of course, but I just got a feeling that I think that's going to be a good pairing. I think it's going to be a good pairing for them.
Yeah, that's a lot of beef in the lane, man.
Yeah. Let's see. Portland Trail Blazers. They finished 11th in the West. They got Utah Jazz 12th in the West. Yeah, they lost everything, so they're rebuilding right now. The Utah Jazz, Oklahoma City, they got them in the bottom, 15th in the West, 20-62. Yeah, Chet Holmgren, their pick, I think he's done for the season.
Yeah, he's out for the year. Yeah.
Yeah. So Memphis Grizzlies 3rd in the West. I like it. I like Memphis 3rd in the West, 51-31.
Yeah, I think they're good, man. They got a young nucleus, and they can play whatever style you play. They can play it.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. New Orleans Pelicans 6th in the West. Are you buying that, Mr. Reed?
Nah, I think that's a little high, but I think they're gonna be pretty good, man. I think they finished the preseason undefeated. I like the way they're moving the ball. I mean, I watched a couple of their preseason games. I like their bench. I like well, I don't know about Zion.
Yeah.
But I think the team is constructed that whatever happens with him, if he get hurt or something, that they can sustain not having him, for a stretch of 2, if he does get hurt. But I like their team, man. I like Willie Green as a coach. I like the way they push the pace. I think they can score in bunches. And I think right now they coming off a good, the way they performed in the playoffs, took the Suns 7 games.
Yeah,
I think that that breeds momentum, but then again, they're the New Orleans Pelicans, and I'm not going to say that they're the best team they ever had in their franchise history in New Orleans was the 07-08 team when they won those 56 games with David West and Chris Paul, and I don't think this group is good as that one, but. I think happy days are back again. I think they're a playoff team. Believe it or not.
Okay. Yeah. I see him as a playoff team. I like CJ McCollum as their leader. I like CJ McCollum, man. CJ McCollum, it was evident the impact that he had when he came over from Portland last year. Now Dallas Mavericks, they got a 46-36 at 8th in the West. And this is interesting because I kind of agree and then I kind of don't. And let's see what he says. He said, how you feel about Mavericks depend on how important you view Jalen Brunson to last season's success, not just his value as a player, but his roles in the team's tri-headed attack. The reasons for optimism: Dallas went 35-12 after January 1st, brought back everyone but Brunson, and has an incredibly high floor thanks to Luka Doncic's otherworldliness. The defense should remain good. The offense will be dangerous. Given that outlook, the Mavericks ought to win quite a bit more games than 46, but Brunson's departure does leave his team vulnerable when Doncic and Spencer Dinwiddie miss games, and it's possible his ball handling role last season proves to be more important to the team's success than realized. So I get what he's saying, and that is that was a concern for me as well, losing Jalen Brunson and the impact he was going to have. But I think there's still a playoff team. He got him 8th in the West, of course. Luka Doncic is that dude, man. It's just what it is.
I actually would pick them ahead of the Pelicans. I would, in that division, I would put the Memphis 1, Mavericks 2, Pelicans 3, and then the Spurs at the bottom.
Yeah, they got the Spurs 13th in the West at 24-58. They say after witnessing Victor Wembanyama, I think that's how you say his name, put on the show in Vegas, I expect the Spurs to experiment. Yeah, they say, of course, they say Adam Silver had to send out a message to all the teams not to tank for Victor after watching him in the G League in Vegas, man. Hey, that kid put on a show. For sure. Him and the I can't think of the other kid's name, but he projected to be the number 2 overall pick. Both of them played very well and look like they're going to go 1 and 2 in the draft upcoming. So yeah, Spurs, and then of course Houston Rockets 14th in the West. They're still not very good. Pacific Division, LA Clippers. They got the Clippers first in the West at 54-28. Is Kawhi Leonard playing? I mean, is he healthy now?
He's back.
How long that's gonna last? I wonder, man.
Well, that's what I wonder. And how it'll take them 2 months they'll take the first 2 months of the season for Paul George and him, for them to get a chemistry going. So
yeah.
I think they're gonna have some growing pains in the early portion of the season, but they got talent. But we'll see how it blend and mix together. And Kawhi's time, I mean, I almost forgot his name. I mean, he ain't played in like 2 years. So
oh my goodness, it's been a while. It's been a while, man. I'm wondering. I say Nesco say Zion is back, baby. Hey, I will say I watched Zion in that preseason game, and dude, he jumped off the screen. He looks healthy. I like what I saw that night. We watched him. I watched him in that preseason game. He looks like he's healthy. Got some spring in his step.
Well, we'll see how long it lasts. I know he hurt his ankle in the not the final preseason. I think the second to the last preseason game, he sprained his ankle. He didn't play in the final preseason game against.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot who that was, but they did say he said it's much ado about nothing. He said he'll be ready.
Well, you know who they got tomorrow, right?
No. Who they play for the opening season?
Brooklyn. At Brooklyn.
Ooh. Well, Brooklyn don't play no defense, so they should at least be able to score.
Yeah, it could be a shootout in overtime. You mean wait a minute, you know who poll is this? Who put this out?
This is let's see.
Hollinger?
This is Hollinger, yeah.
So he picked the Clippers over the Warriors, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Where he's got the Suns at? Third?
Let's see. Let's go back to
the Lakers ahead of the Suns.
All right, let's see. Go. Okay, you got Clippers. You got Golden State second in the West. Yeah, he got Golden State second in the West. He got Phoenix going to be tied for fourth in the West.
Tied
at 50 and 30 is 50 and 32.
Tied with the Lakers.
Yeah, let me see what he said about the Clippers. He said, the Clippers certainly have the talent, depth, and coaching to be the best team in the Western Conference. The team won 42 games and was eighth in the West before the play-in tournament while getting the combined 59 games from Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Norman Powell, and Robert Covington. Expect the Clippers to aggressively manage their veterans, as we've seen that they will sacrifice regular season wins to be ready for the postseason. Okay. We'll see what he said about the Warriors. The Warriors are back in familiar territory where the regular season win-loss record is nowhere near as important as ensuring they are healthy and rested enough to defend their crown when the playoffs tip in April. That means plenty of off nights for the veterans and a handful of punt losses along the way. A 53-win mark will equal their total last season, which seems reasonable. It delivered them the number 3 seed. They stole the game 1 in Memphis to take away home court. Early in the series, they didn't have it. If guaranteed April health, they take 53 and 3rd seed as a path again. Yeah, and this is where Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins and Wiseman, if he plays and he's able to stay healthy, these young guys take on more of that load during the season so you can have your veterans healthy for the postseason. So Phoenix tied for 4th at 50 and 32. Say there's a theory that Phoenix championship window has closed. What you think about that? You think so? You think their window closed?
I think Monty is I think the relationship between Monty and Deion is I don't know.
And he just brought this up. He said DeAndre Ayton got paid, but his mindset, is he happy in Phoenix, is a mystery. That's a big part of it. And they got the Robert Sarver thing hanging over the franchise like a big stink.
And Ayton gonna say, look, man, you had me to go through, test the market, get an offer, and then you guys finally came at the last second and matched it. That's gonna be a hard thing for him to get over, man. And who he's blaming? He's blaming Monty. He's not blaming the GM. He's blaming Monty. When they started training camp, they asked him and said, "Have you spoke to Monty?" He said, "No, I'm just working."
Wow, I hadn't heard that one.
So yeah, you got to follow. This can totally disrupt, combobulate their locker room.
Yes, it could. Yes, it could. So let's see. He got the Los Angeles Lakers 40 and 42. They are sub 500, 9th in the West. Say based on the way the past 2 Lakers seasons have played out, and more importantly, the depth of the playoff caliber teams in the West, this projection is reasonable. It is reasonable. The 40-win total feels a little low, but it's definitely to predict the Lakers' record without knowing how many games they're going to get from LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And the NBA truism that applies to Los Angeles more than most teams. It's probably smarter to remain skeptical and bet against them. With that said, the Lakers' offense looked crisper this preseason. They have much better supporting cast. They still have the possibility of upgrading their roster via trade during the season. Yeah, you predicted that Russell would be gone before the All-Star game or the trade deadline.
Well, they're gonna bring him off the bench. I read something saying that they think he could push the pace with the second unit better than he can with the starters.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I say this: I like their coach, man. I mean, he's
Darvin Ham. Yeah, you talked to me about him. Yeah,
hands on. He did a great job as assistant with the Milwaukee. And the one thing about him, it's gonna be his way of the whatever they run and the system that they run, or he puts somebody from the starter to the backup unit.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it's gonna be said. So it ain't gonna, he ain't one of them coaches that just gonna give in. So they gotta, he's a former player, big guy, And I don't think he's going to clash with somebody like LeBron or somebody. I think he's going to demand a lot out of Anthony Davis, and I think they'll be a better team. I wouldn't be shocked if the Lakers finish ahead of the Suns at the third spot.
Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked either. And then a trade, like he said, can change and bring a couple more wins to him. Who knows? Let's see. He said, I currently peg them as mid-40s basis, just with sizable caveat that the help could swing outcomes in the direction of the right trade. Yeah. So, who knows what it's going to look like, but, we'll see. So Sacramento Kings got them finishing 10th in the West at 37-45. So, I mean, right now, looking at it, I could definitely see if the Clippers are healthy. If the Clippers are healthy, I could definitely see them finishing no lower than 3 for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, no lower than 3. If they can get playoff P, Paul George to play like he, because he had his playoff struggles, but he has played well in the playoffs as of late. You get just get Kawhi Leonard to the game, please. If you could get him suited up and on the court, I got faith. I got belief in him. So, but I don't know about them making a title run. I don't know about that. The West is so tough. If the Clippers were in the East, I could see them going to the finals possibly. But them going through that gauntlet of the West, it's going to be tough to do.
And I think they have to build chemistry. I think Paul George got to know what his role is. I think the biggest problem with the Clippers, when they get to crunch time, they get in the playoff series, it's like, not having Kawhi obviously hurts. But even when Leonard was playing, it's like they don't know how to defer, who goes to, who's the shot maker, who's deferring, and make it natural. I think a lot of times when you watch them play a couple seasons ago, it was like, okay, man, it's gonna be my game today. I'm gonna take a shot. Kawhi just seemed like George and Kawhi didn't have a good chemistry with each other. And hopefully with time, I think both those guys need about 65 games together so they can figure each other tendencies, how to play off one another, and build the chemistry to be an effective 1-2 punch and help that supporting cast. And I think both of them a couple seasons ago when they was actually playing together, they were doing too much thinking. They didn't want one thinking about, well, I don't want to ball hog. I don't want to take away shots from Kawhi. I don't want to take away shots from George. And man, it's about winning, and those guys got to develop a type of chemistry where everything comes natural. It's a flow of the offense, and they don't take shots away from each other just so they can be friends with each other. If you get my drift, so they got to learn how to. They got to learn how to build chemistry and be effective 1-2 punch than trying to, okay, I don't want to get them upset if I take too many shots down the stretch and all that kind of stuff. This league is about who's the man, who's team. and I think the Clippers got to get beyond that. Had a lot of disappointment in the playoffs, and you got to get beyond, okay, it's Kawhi team, no, it's Paul team, and all that such and such, man. They just got to play as a unit.
Yeah, I feel that. And in the East, I think who coming out of the East? For me, it's between Milwaukee and the 76ers. I like the 76ers. I like what they have, and I think that if they can stay healthy, I can see them definitely making a push. And of course, Milwaukee is Milwaukee. When all those guys are healthy, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Giannis, man, it's
Well, when is Middleton coming back? Because he's still out, right?
I think he is still out. I don't know when he's coming back.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. So, but that coach though, you said it for a long time.
Yeah. Just I don't know. Sometimes I think he goes just through the motions, and that's all right, guys. Roll the ball out. You guys take control and help us win the game. That's what it almost seemed like. How much coaching they get. But I agree with you in the West, in the East. I think I think Milwaukee can have a bounce back season, which I think they're going to be up there at the top. I think Miami going to be up there. I like Cleveland's size. I like Mitchell. I think they got some scoring punch from the perimeter. And I think that's the one thing they was missing. They were one of the bigger teams in the league, but they didn't have a whole lot of perimeter shooting. But I think they improved themselves. And Miami is Miami, man. Miami plays gritty. They can beat you in different ways. They got a good bench. They got a lot of depth, and they come at you night in and night out. And I think they're going to be in that top four, man. So I think out of the top four, Boston in that top four, Milwaukee, Miami. I wouldn't put Cleveland in the top four. I probably would put Philly and the Nets. And I probably put Philadelphia ahead of the Nets.
Yeah, definitely, because they can't play defense. Brooklyn, they can score. They can score 130, but they'll give up 135.
Yeah, I say watch out for Chicago. I don't think they're in the top five, but I think.
Yeah, what was Chicago again? I can't remember. Let me see what they said Chicago was. Let's see. Miami Heat on the Hawks. Let's see. Let's go back and see what Chicago. Okay, 9th in the East. They got them 9th in the East.
Oh, I think they're better than 9th. Better than 9th.
And they say Lonzo Ball is not. He should he should be out for a significant amount of time. Yeah. So yeah. I think they're better. I think they are better than the 19 in the East, though.
Yeah, and I guess at the bottom, who they got at the bottom? Detroit.
Yeah, 13th.
13, and then who's last is Indiana?
No, Indiana is 14th, and the Magic they got them last in the conference, but in that division they got Indiana coming in the rear.
See. Well, I thought Indiana got some pieces though, man. They just young, I guess.
Yeah, no, they are young. So that's for the East
draft pick.
Yeah, so let's see the West. I still lean towards the veterans. These veteran-laden teams like the Clippers, of course, the Warriors, of course. But I don't know, man. Memphis is coming. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, they are. I think out of all the teams in the West, I think the Memphis can outgun the Warriors. They can beat them at their own style. I really think they can. I think they can stretch the floor. I think they move the ball. I think they're a better inside scoring team with those young inside bigs. Not talking about Steven Adams though, but I mean, he can grab your rebound, but he ain't gonna do much on getting back on the defense and running the floor. Yeah. But I think those guys are probably one of the bigger threats that the Warriors gonna have if they're talking about repeating or anything. I think Memphis can play with with the Warriors. Denver gonna beat Denver. I like that they got the guard back. I mean, hopefully he'll be back for the whole year. He's been missing in action with the knee injury.
Yeah.
And, I think Denver is a good team. I don't know about the coaching aspect of it, but I think they can play you. They can play any of the top teams and beat them. But if I have to pick, and I'm not talking about championship, I'm just talking about what's the best team in the West. I say Warriors 1. Mm-hmm. I say Memphis 2. I say Nuggets 3.
Yeah, Nuggets. I will put them up there.
Yeah, Clippers 4. Timberwolves 5. And who I'm missing? And then
I put the Mavericks at 6 on that list.
Yeah, I put Mavericks and the Suns up there in that mid range, 6, 7, 8.
And then Pelicans, I'll throw the Pelicans in there.
I got Pelicans. I'll probably put Pelicans at 7. I think Dallas is a better team than the Pelicans right now.
Okay.
But I would put, even in the division, I would put I think I put them ahead of them in the Southwest Division. I put Memphis first, Dallas 2, Pelicans 3, Spurs 4, and the Rockets at the bottom.
Yeah,
the Rockets got a whole. I like Steven Silas, but I don't know if Steven Silas is the answer to that rebuilding project in Houston, man. I think he's a great guy. I don't think they need a great guy. I think they need a veteran, hard coach who can get those young guys to play in the style that they need to play. I think Steven is too nice, and you can't be a too nice coach with a young team.
Yeah, reminds me of Gus Bradley. Gus Bradley, great guy.
Yeah,
love to hang with him and introduce him to my folks. But as far as getting this rebuild done and being what the Jaguars needed at the time, no. So same thing. Yeah. They say, Ness say, yes, Uncle John, I can see them giving the Warriors a good challenge. Morant is fearless against anybody. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I love the way they push the pace, man. They can beat you in a half-court set, and they can outrun you and get up the lane, beat you on layups, put back, and get back on. And they might be a better defensive team than the Warriors. I mean, especially perimeter defense, man. They get back, they can shoot threes and get back. And they could just keep pounding the ball, get possession after possession, and then they get, the hardest thing about teams that push the pace is getting back on defense. But they got guys who can get back on defense, and I like Memphis, man. I don't know if it's if it's time for them to win a title, but they're in the hunt, man. They got a good nucleus team, good young team, good young emerging players, and they can beat you. They can not just beat you; they can embarrass you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, they can, man. So, but man, we are going to leave it right there. We're going to check out this Lakers Warriors tonight. Let's see what's that score right now. See, Boston pulling away. End of the third, 95-85, Boston.
95-85.
Yep, well, up 10 going into the fourth. Yeah, so it should be an exciting fourth quarter. Let's see what Joel and B got going on, man.
What he got? The double-double?
Pulling up his stats now. Let's see. James Harden got 31. So James Harden got 31, 6 and 7, 4 of 8 from 3. Let's see, Embiid got 19, 10, and 2 with a block. He got 5 turnovers, though, so he been turning the ball over.
Oh, man.
But, yeah, he got a double-double already.
So how many shots Mr. Harden has put up?
13. He only put up 13 shots. He 8 for 13, man. He's playing in the Fisher game, 11 for 11 from the free throw line.
That's pretty good, man.
Yeah. I told you he's looked like he was in great shape. Let's see, Marcus Smart, 14 points. Jaylen Brown. Oh, Jason Tatum. Tatum going off. He got 33, 9, and 2. Yeah, he 12 of 18.
What's the other guy?
Brown. He's 22 points, 9 of 17 shooting. He 1 for 7 from 3 though. Yeah, 22, 1 and 2.
Celtics up.
Yep. So it is what it is, man. So, man, we're gonna leave it right there. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on all my social medias. Follow Mr. Reed on Twitter. We will be back.
When we go?
I think what we're gonna do Sunday, because Jaguars play at 9:30, and I'm pretty certain that I might have to work Sunday morning. So, but we could still go live later on Sunday after I get off, because I don't work no later than 12. I already told them, they got me this Sunday because Jaguars play at 9:30, but 12 o'clock, I'm out the door.
They play the Giants this week.
Oh yeah, they play the Giants. So yeah, we good. I'm thinking about the London game.
Yeah, the London game. That's next week. That's next week.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, next week. So so we'll either go right after the game or we'll go at 7. We'll see. I'll hit you up and we'll see what your schedule look like.
Oh yeah.
So,
you think they're gonna win?
Against the Giants, they're predicted to win. I've seen so many. They're favored to win by I think like 2.5. So I don't know, man. The Giants look good. Brian Daboll, their head coach, he's doing a heck of a job.
No question.
This is a heck of a coaching job, man. This is a heck of a coaching job that he's doing. I think they got the right guy. Denver got the wrong guy. New York got the right guy.
And let's talk about our post game show. We're gonna tell it like it is. If Trevor Lawrence played like garbage, we're gonna say it.
Don't talk about it.
Draymond Walker make a dumb play where he's like another penalty for roughing the passer. We're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna hold no holds barred. We're gonna tell it like it is. So tune in.
Yeah, Shaq Griffin come up barbecue chicken again. I'm gonna talk about it again.
Well, I'm the one to say publicly on my Twitter page that they need to get him to the second team. Any guy who lowers his head, them don't want an interception and lowers his head like, hey ball, don't come near me. I'll lower my head and let somebody else ricochet it or catch it. I don't want it. I'm scared of the football. Can't be a starter on my team.
Ness. I know Ness. We was favored against the Texans and the Colts. So that's why I'm not putting too much into it. Giants look like a good team, man. At the very least, though, we're going to be competitive. Not a single game has been out of reach. You've been right there at the finish line. You just have not been able to finish. So let's see if they could finish Sunday. Because, dude, you can't go. You cannot go 3 losses in a row. Not 3 in a row. Come on, you got to get off the schneid.
Yeah, they need a win. They need a win in the worst way.
Yeah, you need a W. But man, I appreciate everybody. I think that's it. Yeah, he said we was favored. Yeah, I was talking about that. I was like, man, I don't know.
That hoops back, man.
Yeah, he said, I saw that play, Uncle John. I was pissed. Yeah, I did see that play, Ness. I was like, man, what is he doing? He ducking from the ball, and I don't know what he got. what Shaq Griffin had going on, man. I say, what's Shaq Griffin got going on?
I don't know what that was. That was one of the ball placement and knowing where to be at, man. That ain't one of Shaq's strengths right now.
No, it's not, man. But yeah, we'll be going live once again after the game to give our thoughts on the game. So tune in Sunday after the game. Either it's after the game or probably around about 7. Either way, we'll be on to give our thoughts on the game. Remember, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Once again, peace.
Peace out, everybody.